Hey everybody, it's Why We Love Horror. This is the third version of that show, but it's the 79th episode of this version of that show, so we're just totally killing it. I'm JWMaher. That's Abby Brooks. That's Aaron Brooks. Guys, how you doing this week?
I think we're doing pretty good this week.
Yeah, solid enough.
Yeah.
Breaking news at this point in time. The movie we're reviewing this week, up until like a few days ago on IMDb, was just a drama. It wasn't a horror movie. It was a drama. So this new A24 drama dropped last week. But now they've added psychological drama, whatever the fuck that is. So this is A24's latest psychological drama, Opus.
There's a rumor flying around that Moretti's back. Like, Moretti?
After 30 years outside the public eye, pop icon Moretti returns for an exclusive listening experience.
He's bringing you a gift.
This is for Ariel Ecton.
It'll be an absolute honor to spend this weekend with you.
Thank you.
Yep, namaste. Everybody meet Ariel, some young blood from the magazine. This is Clara, the most hated sex symbol on TV.
Thank you. How's print media treating you?
Congratulations, and welcome to this once-in-a-lifetime gathering.
Moretti requires that everyone be shaven. So, how's the lady garden?
Mr. Moretti will be playing the greatest album of modern times. Future times, all the times, really. And there is more to come. So much more.
What is it that you guys do?
Would you like to see?
The crowd is upset. Upset that I'm not on stage.
Is this not alarming to you?
The back row's asleep. But the front row's ready to rage.
Are you sure you haven't been drinking with us?
Okay.
What the fuck is this?
And that's Opus. No secret. I enjoyed it a fuck ton. Let's get started. Does either one of you want to just take a crack at a synopsis for Opus?
Abby's always better at this than I am.
I can certainly try. So the plot to this movie, it's sounds very similar to many different things, but it's ultimately about a pop star who is kind of making a comeback. He's coming out with a new album, and he is infamous for having creative ways or these like listening parties for established people to listen to the new music first. So that's basically, it's a group of people who go to a secluded compound where this pop star is living, with a bunch of other people. And the whole thing is just for him to kind of showcase his music, showcase what him and this group of people are all about, kind of thing. And of course, there is some type of badness going on behind the scenes.
That sounds like exactly what happens. And we can just get let's front load the discussion here. A lot of people watch this movie and like, oh, it's A24, so this is like a spiritual sequel to Midsommar. Fine. Oh, this is just like The Menu, but it's music and not food. Fine. It's like every other like, oh shit, is this a cult movie? Yeah, it is. But it's not derivative. It's just the same concepts, I'd say, right?
I agree.
Yeah, I don't feel like anything is ripped off. I wasn't like, oh fuck, they did this. Is like, I mean, I guess there's some shots that are kind of like similar on purpose in the movies. Like there's a shot they show the hut in the distance. I'm like, okay, that's Midsommar.
That's Midsommar.
So that happens, but like it's not like a blatant rip off of any of the movies. There's like little subtle like tongue in cheek.
I think it's still its own.
There are certain plot things that happen later in the movie that I feel are very similar to certain movies, but I guess I agree that I don't think it's like a ripoff of any of these movies. It's just a lot of them combined into one.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it's a little more than just familiar. I guess I'm probably the most negative on this movie of the three of us this week, but like I still think it's good enough. I just, you know, at the end of the day, I did feel a little bit of the directorialness of debut-ness of it with, like, I think Mark Anthony Green, is that his name?
That is exactly his name.
Being a little bit over-reliant maybe on some current, like, elevated and other horror tropes of the last 5 to 8 years. And I think he does a good job of, you know, emulating those in his own way, I should say. But I'll just say it right off the bat. Ayo Abedi and John Malkovich, second week in a row where we have very good performances. These are John Malkovich is nearly as crazy as Landis. I'll give him that. Malkovich always delivers, or usually does. But Ayo Abedi was really good as, I guess it's not Final Girl since it's a psychological drama. I'm not sure what they call those in those.
Yeah, it's a girl, a central girl. She's a central girl in a psychological drama. Yeah, Ayo Abedi is really, really good. It's like, I mean, she's been good for a long time, and like everyone like knows she's been good. But unless you're like really looking for her, like watching Bottoms or the later seasons of Big Mouth, like you don't get to see her shine. But she's really good. Malkovich is good, and I want to just, even though he's only in 2 scenes, Tony Hale.
Just not enough Tony Hale.
This movie, yes. I mean, I need a Soledad Yusuf spinoff, because he's like, for like the 4 minutes he's in this movie, Tony Hale slays, like absolutely slays.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then there's a couple other, like, you know, familiar faces in here. Juliette Lewis plays like a talk show host that gets invited along. Amber Midthunder is like a weird concierge that's like assigned to.
Yeah. Doesn't speak.
Yeah. Ariel, who's Ayo Abedi's character. And basically it's like the movie starts out like she's just a writer for like a Rolling Stone type magazine. She's not even like a major writer there. She kind of just like is like a very, very low on the totem pole. Like she doesn't get to write much stuff. She gets ideas and they give it to the other authors. But then for some reason, like a random group of like 7 people are invited into the compound, and she's one of them, and we don't really know why. And that might be my only issue with the movie. Not that we don't find out why, but the actual why of it is really, you really have to suspend disbelief as the actual why of it. But that's really my only major nitpick. It's kind of third act clunky. When they get you to the end, it's like, and this is why. It's like, all right, I enjoyed it. I forgive you. That's my only nitpick. But let's talk about the actual like compound, like when they get there, like, and the leveling and all that stuff. What were your thoughts about the main meat of the movie?
I mean, the compound itself, I feel like I was expecting this movie maybe to be a little bit more weird. I mean, it's definitely a weird movie, but for most of the time you are just kind of wondering what's going on, why are all of these people here. You're just kind of going along, and then you get to the end and everything's explained to you. I don't know. I thought I agree that whole part of the movie was probably where things started to kind of fall apart. I think, again, the compound part, I guess the mystery was done pretty well, because you are wondering until the very end. And again, it is very like Midsommar feeling, but without being too much like that, I guess.
Yeah, it's with again, I'm going to keep coming back to the Midsommar menu thing. Like, Midsommar has the scene where like the old people jump off the cliff, and you're like, "Oh fuck, what are we in for?" Like that doesn't happen in this movie. And in the menu, like they're executing people, and like you're like, "Oh fuck, what are we in for?" That doesn't happen in this movie either. It's way more subtle, and the way it reveals itself at the end, like if you're bought into it, it's actually even more clever, I would say.
Well, I was gonna say, now that we have the spoiler banner up, one of the movies this also kind of reminds me of, in a way, is The Sacrament, and kind of like a whole like Jim Jones kind of thing. I don't think John Malkovich, like, I guess he's the leader, but he's not like, I don't know. He's not like
father. He's not father.
Yeah. So that was kind of weird, but it does kind of remind me in the Sacrament in a way of like, everyone's like, oh, this is so great here. We love it here. But then there's just like weird little things that are just off-putting.
Ominous, yeah.
I'd say it's like Sacrament is really accurate, but it's like a Sacrament fake out. Like the end of the third act is the end of the Sacrament, but it's a fake out. Like that's not what happens. Like you think that's what's happening, but that is not what happens. So I'll say that. Aaron?
Yeah. No, I did. I guess it's subtle if you're into and buying into it, and it's kind of a little bit boring and lackluster if you're not buying into it. And I just hadn't, the introduction to the characters, like it was fine, but it also just like, it felt like a bad found footage movie in a way, but just not shot found footage where I'm like, these characters are not like hooking me for the most part. And like, I kind of just want to get to where we're focusing on Ariel and like what's really going on with, is it Moretti? Is that his name?
Moretti, yes.
Yeah. So Moretti. And again, like, I will say that like Mark Anthony Green shot this movie really well. There's some really cool tracking shots, some really good overhead shots that aren't just Midsommar. Overall, like that's why I would just again come back to the word underbaked for me. Like it's just it not quite there, and that's why by the end, like an underbaked pastry, you take it out, put it on the cooling rack, it falls apart a little bit, and you can defend the ending and kind of explain why you think it's a little more clever, because I'm definitely open to hearing that interpretation.
I'll get to the ending, I guess. Yeah. But like the one other thing I want to say is like, for a movie, like they could have been real lazy. Like he's a pop star. They could have just glossed over like the pop part of it. But I think the actual original songs they put into this movie are kind of good. Like they're way better than they have any right to be. Like when they play the hit track from like the 90s, like Dina Simone, the track in the beginning, I'm like, this is actually really good. And like you can imagine a song like that being like an EDM hit. And then the actual songs they play off the new album are also pretty good. Like so they put the effort into this movie. But I think the best way to describe the ending is it goes from the ending of The Sacrament and they fake you out into the second act of Fight Club, where like you think all the cult members have died, but it's a suicide fake out, and they scatter and they reintegrate into society, and the levelers, as they're called, are now like they're the guy that's giving you ice cream. It's the lady that's giving you a massage. It's Project Mayhem. Like so through Ariel promoting her story as the sole survivor of this massacre, the massacre didn't happen, but she's promoted it as a massacre, and all these people who are supposedly dead are now sleeper agents in society waiting for Moretti to be having to go on trial. And that's how the movie ends. And I do think it's like a real, like really looking at like a cult of personality and how they manipulated this lowly journalist into promoting it to what it actually isn't, but it becomes the reality. So that's the hidden genius of Opus to me.
Sure. I think the ending, it also, at least from what I remember, it feels like it was also a little bit of like the Menu's ending in a way, where it's like the group of people that they have gathered at this compound. It's a bunch of people who have wronged him in the past in a way, or like written bad things. So that's where I got that from too. So it was like kind of a mix of the Menu as well, because in that movie, I'm pretty sure all the people that were there are people who have wronged the main guy. So I thought about that as well. And yeah, I mean, I guess I'm in between both of you, where like, I'm not sure if I think it's that clever, but I'm kind of, I didn't mind it that much. I think again, the ending is probably the weakest part.
It has like a primal fear ending, kind of like where it's like, oh, I defended you. I made you what you aren't. Fuck, I fucked up.
Yeah. And to me, the ending felt like a twist for twist's sake. And like, I get how you kind of are presenting it. And that is like, that's a good argument for it. It really is. But that's not how I saw it the first time. Maybe if I rewatched it the second time, kind of anticipating it a little more like that. But to me, it just felt like they couldn't end it too predictive. So they had to kind of A24 it at the end here.
Yeah, the biggest stretch is that you have to believe they intended to have Ariel survive. That's like the biggest
Exactly,
leap.
right.
If you stick that landing, the whole thing is pretty beautiful.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big leap, but it, I get it at the same point. Just another movie I'd compare it to that I don't think it was necessarily ripping off. Theater of Blood, getting back at your critics and people who've wronged you. And if you've not
just a little less creative kills in this. The one like there's a really like over the top body horror like thing. Like this one of the girls who's like an influencer, I guess she's like a TikToker or whatever, like has like a severe allergic reaction that goes on for like 45 minutes. It goes on for a long time.
That's probably the best kill. Like I can't really think of anything else that was that memorable from this movie, honestly. Any kills that happened, which again, like if we're comparing, we keep comparing it to the other movies, but all the other movies that it kind of is going after had better kills in them.
Agreed.
Yeah. And there's other like idiosyncrasies you learn about the cult, but like we could be here for like hours talking about and the oysters and this and the other thing. But like we could just skip ahead and give our various ratings on this movie. So let's see where we land. We're gonna do it the way we always do it. Aaron, you can go first.
All right. So the party pooper is back. It was a good run of Curse of Jenny Penn, where I was like the positive one. I'm the negative one here, and it's A24, so I don't just rate every A24 movie great here. I did the rare going back and adjusting my rating, and I adjusted it from a 3.5 to a 3 for me. This movie was just very middle of the road, which is kind of a little bit. I was just a little bit bored and not caring about the characters that felt a little bit too disposable to me, and Ao and John were just not quite enough to really get over the hump for me here. So I was a little disappointed. I was bored in the theater at some times. 3.
Fair enough. Abby?
I think I'm a little bit higher on it. I wasn't ever bored watching this movie. I thought it was entertaining, and again, the performances were good. It's a good looking movie. Just again, had some issues with the ending. So I gave it 3.5.
And hi, I'm here. I love Opus. Opus is my current #1 of the year. I think this movie. I'm glad people are pandering to me now. Finally, thank you. I've been doing this for a couple years now. Yeah. It's great that A24 is finally pandering to me. Opus is a John movie through and through. And I'm at 4.5. I love this movie a lot. I don't think it's going to be my #1 when the year's over, but it'll probably make my top 10, and I will be promoting Opus heavily. I'm going to rewatch this and point out more stuff and annoy people. But as we do every week, we're still doing the Why We Love Horror Challenge in 2025. So let's see what we're doing this week. You can join us here at this website. All the prompts are there for the entire year. There's 52. There's one for each week of the year. You don't have to do one a week. You can join whenever and do a whole bunch at once. You can do them out of order. We don't care. We're going to be following up with you and eventually and talking all about the movies you guys are watching too. But for now, let's talk about the movies that we're watching. And this week it was watch a folk horror movie, but to make it a little trickier, one that isn't in the English language. And since we ended on me, we'll start with me. And I picked a movie called, that's not mine, this is mine, Hagazusa, which is a German/Austrian film, pretty recent. I believe it's 2018 this came out. And it is a extremely like slow burn witch story. And there's a lot of like 17th century drug use, and like it's all your witch tropes, but it's done in a very beautiful, slow way. So I in a way, I'm giving you your out. If that isn't your cup of tea, you're probably not gonna like this movie. But if you do like slow burn, kind of semi like pastoral folk horror with witches, you're gonna like Hagazusa, I'll say. Abby?
So I watched Onibaba, which is a movie from the 60s from Japan, I believe. And I don't know. I liked it. I think this is a movie, it'll go in the category of movies that I appreciate and respect more than I actually like would rave and love it. Like this, to me, it's not a 5-star movie. I think that this is one of those movies where it's like a film where you can study it and like look at all of the themes and all of that kind of stuff. And it's a very good movie. I did like it. It's just not 5 stars.
Fair enough. I don't think I have it 5 stars either. Aaron?
Well, I have it at 5 stars, so I guess that was added at Aaron. We're just doing that on air now. We're not even having private we're just going to say it to you towards each other. Anyways, Onibaba is a 5-star movie for me. And a movie that's not quite 5 stars for me, but it was pretty damn good. The Devil's Bath. Finally got to it by the directors of The Lodge. It's dark as hell. My God, that first opening scene and the ending scene, absolute. I believe, John, you used the word slayer of a scene, or what? I don't know what.
I'll look up exactly what I said. You continue talking about the movie.
Whatever you said, I can't say it better. This is a movie where the opening and closing alone get you home on the journey. It's a brutal journey based on like historical evidence, similar to The Girl with the Needle. What was the term, John?
A bleak as fuck movie, bookended by 2 fire scenes, though.
Yes, they were fire. I thought you used a different word than fire, but yeah. The point remains. Yeah, very bleak. I would definitely say if you have seen Devil's Bath, which I know a lot of people have, it's a Shudder original from last year, a couple years ago. Check out Girl with the Needle, another movie that is very bleak, historically accurate, and man, it's hard to be a woman genre. It's like the opposite of good for her. It's not quite. It's like, oh no for her. Like, oy vey.
This was the first movie I watched for the challenge this year, and I said another title for it could be, So You've Discovered You're a Beard to an 18th Century German Bear.
Yes.
Next Steps.
Yeah.
Is basically what this movie is.
Yeah, but this movie it's solid. And I did like it quite a bit, so I'm glad I finally got to it. These directors can't really do any wrong at this point. Go see The Lodge if you've not seen The Lodge.
Yeah, Severin Fiala and Veronica Franz, if you didn't know who they are. They also did a short in the Field Guide to Evil and a few other smaller movies here and there. They're really good. Check them out. Mm-hmm. That being said, that'll do it for this week for us. If you made this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror. Go to the Letterboxd challenge at this website again. Join us, talk to us, get at us here on the comments. Get at us in the Facebook in the comments. Comment on Letterboxd. We will respond. We are friendly people. Most of us, most of the time. That being said, schedule here is the same, and I'm going to do what Aaron did in the other video. We're going to start with Sunday. Sunday, maybe the new flagship show of the channel. I don't know. Why Liv Loves Horror. This weekend, she's going to be talking about the Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up. Not necessarily a horror movie, but for a little kid, aliens trying to blow up the Earth is probably scary. So yes. That's how we're going to frame that. Monday is Versus. Will and I will be tackling the second movie by the Morangiello family, The American Ripper, and 3 people will watch it. And I'm happy. Thank you, the 3 of you that watch it.
Those people are geeks.
There's a special edition in the middle. Thursday, Why We Love Horror will return. I believe you guys won't be here. We'll be covering Locked with a special guest host. I won't drop that until it comes. And then next Friday, 2 more episodes of Why We Love Horror Trivia. And until next time, I'm John Maher, and that's Abby Brooks, and that's Aaron Brooks. And this has been Why We Love Horror.